Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night, good day, good grief, good things. It is Danger Bloomin' Good Recall, good, the old good news show. Is my mic popping? I think it is. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. There you go, Dangerlings. I won't be shouting in your ear holes anymore. It is Danger Recall. I'm going to keep going though. Danger Recall is here. This is episode 40. Oh my goodness. My name is Colin Hubbard and I am going to be your host for the proceedings of talking about episode 40 of the Danger Club podcast. With me, I have guests. Beautiful guests, amazing guests. I have Mr. Dan Thompson.
Hello, Colin. How's it going?
Very good, thank you, Daniel. How are you?
I'm very good. I'm running on about 2 hours sleep, so I'm looking forward to one that's going to get a little bit weird.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. I tell you what, it's a really good. I'll come back to this actually. Scott is with us as well. How you doing, Scott?
Pop. Yeah,
Pop,
I'm here.
Pop.
How's it going, Colin?
Yeah, good man. You know, it's all right. I was working this morning from home, obviously. Well, not obviously, because some people are going back to work, aren't they? Doing a bit of work, and then had a cup of tea. It's been great. How about you?
Yeah, one coffee and a stretch, and some work from home. But it's split these days, isn't it? I spend sometimes recovering from a busy weekend of work and shows, and then a couple of days being like, oh, there's a bit of office things to do. It's different. It's different. I just watched Bo Burnham's Inside, and I was like reminded of how much stuff there wasn't to do in the last year, and like, oh yeah, things are kind of different now. Things are a little bit the same, but they are kind of different. We do have more time to do actual things now.
Yeah,
aren't they?
I haven't watched it yet. I'm looking forward to seeing that. To be fair,
it's just take a moment when you do, mate. Take a moment. It's very funny. It's very insightful. The music is amazing. The music is immaculate.
Yeah.
But just take a moment. He does get a bit sad.
Is it deep?
He gets a bit deep every now and then, yeah.
Okay. I think that's standard comedy these days, isn't it? You're supposed to go, oh, by the way, everything's fucked.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I could be a comedian. No, I'm joking, I couldn't. Comedian is I think, actually, thinking about that, people have asked me before, like friends that do comedy and stuff, they said, would you ever do stand-up and maybe you should come and try it, just come and do 5 minutes with me. I don't think I ever will. It's not for me. I'm not sure if it's a thing that I would ever do. Scott, have you ever done it? Would you do it?
I've just been booked for my first stand-up gig.
Have you?
That I didn't want. Yeah.
Interesting.
This mate of mine just like, you're funny, right? And it was at a time when I had no work, and I went, oh God, I think you book people, so yes, I'm going to regret this. And she was like, cool, I need a little stand-up set. And I was like, okay, like this much for a 5-minute set at the start, and at the end it's a wedding, so no one's going to care that much. So she was like, yeah. She was like, yeah, cool. Let me get back to the client. Okay, client wants it to be a 20-minute set. I was like, 20? I've never done this before. I've never done this before. 20-minute set. So yeah, I'm currently writing a 20-minute set to do at a wedding of a load of architects. So we'll have a lot in common.
Your first stand-up gig is going to be to people you don't know. It's like kind of like a corporate gig because they're a bunch of architects, and it's 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's going to be relatable. I'm just going to talk about the Danger Club podcast. I think we've got a lot in common. They're probably fans, so
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can just go, right, I've got this mate called Ross, right, and he let me explain it, and then people will love that. They'll absolutely love that. And Dan, obviously, you've done stand-up comedy before, haven't you?
I have, yeah, for 5 years, and what feels like a lifetime ago. It is I'm popping as well. I'm going to turn my mic down as well. It's a poppy kind of time at the moment. Yeah, I did it for 5 years, way back in the good old 2000s. It is the greatest kind of performance. It's in terms of an actual feeling. It's just the most amazing performance that you can have. It is, without doubt, the worst type of performer lifestyle that I have ever had. It is just constantly depressing and just walking home from gigs by yourself and drinking by yourself and just staying in hotel rooms by yourself. It is absolutely rubbish in terms of that. Unless I think you get enough, if you work enough to work through that it can be great. But yes, I miss the performing side of it every day, and I miss the business side of it not at all.
Yeah, I bet that is. I mean, the instant kind of gratification of saying something and having a room laugh, that must be just, because I mean, I've had experience of that, doing that with like presenting and elements of that when it comes to immersive theatre, but it's scripted, it's very different. But you can still improvise around that and get laughs straight away, and that does feel amazing. But stand-up comedy is its own thing because you go out there and you're very alone. I think it's the hardest form of performance that any performer can do, I think.
So I'm looking forward to my first gig, basically.
You've already mastered the secret of comedy, Scott, which is get people to pay you as much money as possible for whatever gig they'll give you, which is really the trick to it. Once you've got that bit done, you can work out you're funny enough to work the rest out.
I'll just get up on stage and I'll twirl my moustache at them and be like, ha ha ha, who laughed here? I'll tell you who nearly laughs last in this episode, and that's someone called Spears Morgan. Am I right, guys?
Yes, Morgan. Lovely. Yes, we are talking about episode 40. We talked about stand up for a while there, but we're going to talk about episode 40 now. It's called Choose Your Own Misadventure. Love that. That's a really great name. Choose Your Own Misadventure came out on the 4th of March 2019. Sword Coast Soundscapes, Chan Walrus, White Sound, Mattia Capelling, and of course, music from Ross Bludgeon. Spears Morgan gets his name in this episode, doesn't he, Scott?
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Someone nearly gets another name as well. This is an episode with two great names in it, because this is the episode with Neil in it as well. Not to deflect away from my own naming of a monster, but also that was also an epic moment, and we got a bumper episode with two epic names in this one. It's quite a good one for that.
I love that. The Neil joke is one of my favourite jokes we've ever had on the show. I think Drummond broke us with that one. I remember sorting out promo and stuff for this. I just looking up as many famous Neils as I could find. I was just like, I'm just going to spend the whole week just tweeting pictures of famous people called Neil. Turns out there's quite a few of them. Neil deGrasse Tyson, Sam Neill,
Neil Diamond.
Yeah,
we could that list could run on, couldn't it? Yeah. In fact, don't we do that in the episode at some point? It feels like something James would do.
It's a very Neil. Yeah, it's a very James thing. I'd nearly call James Neil. It's a very James thing.
He looks like a Neil. He could be a Neil. James could be a Neil.
We used to game with a guy called Neil. He stole your boots, like in game. I remember he was our buddy Neil came along to D&D
Neil.
for like he came along for like 2 games and had a great time, and he came to like one of the only games you ever missed, and they beat the boss and like looted the boots of sneaking, and I'd literally put them in and been like, here's a nice reward for Scott, and then he was like, ooh, these look nice, put them on, never came back to the campaign.
Oh yeah, he did. He dropped in and out.
Didn't he didn't he just get loads of acting work and then he never came again?
He did, yeah. I remember because his girlfriend was a director at the time. I think she was directing The Orange Tree. I don't know why I know that piece of information. And yeah, he was getting a bit of stuff. Then he dropped out of it for a while, and I've just checked. He just happened to have come up on social media again lately. He's now doing comedy.
He is, full circle, yeah. Neil Craig, if you're in Brighton, want to watch some comedy.
He was, because for a while we were crossing over. When I was doing Harry Potter walking tours, he was doing like pirate shows on the Golden Hind, and I'd go past the Golden Hind, and the wizard and the pirate would sort of go like, hello, hey mate, how you doing? And everyone would be like, well, you guys know it, of course you know each other.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
Wonderful.
I hope he's sneaking about some stages.
So yeah, episode 41, crazy. As I said before, we got loads of music from Sword Coast, Chan Walrus, White Sand, Mattia Capelling, and Bludgeon, of course. Good old Bludgeon. I know 40. We keep saying Bludgeon.
Sorry.
Oh, it's episode 40, isn't it? What am I talking about? Episode 41. That's next week's.
Sorry,
that's right. Episode 40, Dangerlings. I'm going mad. Yeah. Do you know what? We've got to tweet us.
Yeah. We got tweeters. We did several tweeters, didn't we? In this, we just basically called out all the evil White Walkers that we knew of at the time, didn't we? Like,
yeah.
I think I have the note that you're talking about. I just have the note. Tweet us Trump. He can't.
Yeah, he can't fucking now, can he?
Yeah, he can't now. Now, back then, he could have done. Do you know what I mean? He could have tweeted us, and it would have been. I'll tell you what, it wouldn't have been amazing because we don't. I don't know, whatever you think about Trump Dangerlings. But let's be honest, it would have been amazing for the sense that the audience that this guy gets, you know. So it would have just, so many people would have gone, oh, who's this Danger Club that he's slagging off? And you know, there would have been so many non-supporters of Trump that might have jumped in. They might have just gone, yeah, Danger Club. I mean, we didn't slag him off. We just said tweet as Trump.
Oh, didn't we? God, that's too easy, isn't it? Drum actually makes a very good point that when I think someone says, I think it's Dan who says fake adventures, Drum actually makes a very good point saying that's true. That is actually true. We're not actually going on an adventure. We're not actually doing anything. So when Trump tries to fact shame us by saying it's false and whatever, we technically right. We don't have anything. We don't do anything. We're just sitting around.
Yeah. You could literally say, yes, it's fake news. These are fake stories. Yeah. Tweet as Trump.
We're falling behind on our social media, aren't we? We need to get on Parler. That's how we're going to get that show.
Yeah, we haven't got a platform on Parler. Dangerlings, if you have anyone or know anyone on Parler. Hasn't it been shut down? I thought it got shut down.
What even is Parler? Is Parler like the right-wing thing that Trump's gone to?
That's exactly what it is, Colin. They, the neo-fascists, were getting too much hate and flack on Twitter, so they left and started their own platform where they could be fascist by freely fascist, and it's already riddled with controversy and stuff.
Do you know what? These aren't. I'm not saying that these people are right wing or they're fascist or anything like that. They have an opinion, and I mean, this is a story that I'm going to tell. There were some people that I cycled past yesterday who were doing an anti-mask protest outside Westminster. So I was cycling through Westminster, and I kind of looking at their signs, and some of them saying, "Oh, you need to see the truth and wake up, people." And this one woman came to cross the road as I was stopping at the lights. And she said, "You ain't going to run me over, are ya?" And I was like, no, not at all. And she went, "Not even with this sign?" And it said something like, you know, masks are, you don't need them or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it said. And I just said, no, of course I'm not. You've got every right to protest. I don't agree with you, but yeah.
Carl, did she think you were the police? What were you wearing at the time? Like, did she think you were the police? Like, was she coming to you for vindication or jurisdiction then? You Judge Dredd? Was it a motorbike you were riding?
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's so weird. I was on my Brompton, right? I was wearing a Father John Misty t-shirt. Like, I'm such a cliche. Like, I could only be worse if I had like a guitar on my back or something, and a copy of Catcher in the Rye in the top pocket of my t-shirt.
Amazing.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, what a wanker. But no, I mean, I wanted to stop and have a chat with her and just say, look, I don't agree with you, but you got every right to protest. You shouldn't. But she immediately thought that everyone hated her, and I think that's a bit of the problem, isn't it? I think people think that everyone hates them, and that's why all these right-wing people have gone and formed their own echo chamber.
Without diverting too much, it sounded like this particular person was just being slightly antagonistic and wanted to have a bit of a fight. I think that's why I saw something very similar at a pro-EU march I went to a couple of years ago, and there was randomly a bunch of Trump supporters, like literally 4 of them, and they were all like mini bosses from like bad sleazy GTA bosses, all 4 of them, very individual looking, and they all had signs. They were stood amidst a sea of blue and yellow, just happy people with a few like pride flags as well going past, having a nice time, and they were desperate for someone to start a fight with them. They were so desperate for it. So I think some people just turn up to try and cause a problem when there is
loads of photographers like focused in on them to make it look like there's more. The classic thing. Would you say, Scott, that those people were wrathful like an angry skeleton in a tomb of wrath?
I'd say that if any one of them had a rancière in a narrow corridor, I would not try tumbling past them.
I love this bit because Henley's still with us. Big up Rachel Henley. She couldn't come with us today. She couldn't come and see, like, you know, all those things. Maybe we'll get her on for another episode. She's listened to all the episodes, right?
Yeah, she's, as far as I know, she's busy talking to Brazil at the moment in a high-powered executive job. Yeah, that's what she's doing.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anyone that I could pick to talk to another country to settle some stuff, Henley would be the person, actually.
Mine would have been MZ.
It's sad, isn't it? Talking of that, MZ starts all this, doesn't he? He kind of has this idea, because I had this idea during the episode before, but then it came to like, and everyone was like, "Oh, maybe we should try something different." And I was like, "Hang on, I've got something." And then I'm like, "Oh, okay, everyone, what do you want?" And I say to the skeleton, "What's the Spears? What's going on? What do you need, man?" And he turns around, and that's when we get this beautiful Neil moment. And Drum was so quick with this. It was excellent. So good. I know we've spoken about it before, but it is just amazing.
It was very
really made me laugh this time around again. And then we all start kneeling. Caragor, I love this bit where you sort of jump over him first and then you kneel.
Yeah, it's a bit of a cool maneuver followed by an instant act of submission, isn't it? I just realised in retrospect, I was like, it's all right, cool, yeah.
But I love this bit as well because Henley, just going back to Henley, she just turns around and just starts going, I am loving this. This is amazing. Like, she's just so excited by the game. Yeah, it's great.
Very tense moment. Very tense music
really
as well.
Tense.
Yeah.
I think listening back to it, it's a really good thing that Rachel was with us in the room, I think, like kind of mellowing the mood, because otherwise I'm not entirely sure that like James and Drum would have made it out of that room alive if something had gone down with everyone. Like, there was genuine tension between like the people who were kneeling and the two of them outside who were like, well, I'm not helping.
Yeah.
They're like, all you have to do to help is kneel, and both of them are like, No, we're not going. Don't see why we should get involved.
That was it, wasn't it? Rachel summed it up perfectly. In fact, I wrote her line down because she crystallised the moment entirely. She says, "There is literally one thing he can do to help, and he's not doing it." And I think that sums up a lot of Velda. Actually, certainly in the first start of their adventure.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then we get this lovely moment as well, where we're all kneeling and we ask him what he wants, and he's like, "Choose." And we're like, right, well, okay, we have to choose who's going to die. And everyone's like, fuck, we're going to have to fight this guy. And he's like knocked us about for one whole episode. Is this just going to happen? And then Fulton gives this amazing you. And it's just so good. I remember feeling that moment in the studio and thinking to myself, this is where it turns around. This is such good radio here that we've improvised. It's amazing. It's so good. It was such a moment, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was beautiful, and it's one of those moments that you cannot believe that the game throws things that way. You know, it was his turn next. There were no other chances to do to do anything, and then to come back like that. And bear in mind, at this point, you hadn't hit him once. Like he'd lost no hit points, and and several of you were almost dead. It was so rough.
And then Caragor's roll. Listening back, Scott, how did you feel?
It still is tense.
Knowing that it's coming, but yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
Still is tense because even though I knew the outcome of it, you've Pathfinder 1E, you got to roll to confirm criticals, and I'm there being like, did I confirm the crit? Like, I know I did. Did I confirm it? Did I add the holy damage? Like, I know I did it. But yeah, it's still that thing where you're like, oh god, how many hit points is it? Like, how many hit points are you going to get? I don't think anybody at that point was expecting this to end the fight, you see, so it was quite a surprise for us. But Fulton's wonderful you did come in, like, he even says, you listen back to the episode, he goes, oh, sorry, Scott, because he could see and hear me just about to say pretty much, paraphrasing the exact same thing. But in retrospect, I'm glad that kind of stuff got shared across the party, because it made it more of a group thing. You know, if it was a TV show, that would have been a group effort that way, and we do discuss that at the end. But yeah, it was pretty cool. That is crystal clear in my mind. The going from a kneeling position, drawing the cutlass and standing up to the uppercut, all in one sort of blow, that is crystal clear in my mind after many years. It's still there. Still in the mind.
I mean, imagine the club would have just turned around and just gone, Velda, come through.
We choose our mate.
Hold on, we'll just get him.
And then he's like, well, Spears is like, okay then, and goes and stands on the platform and just rotates himself around, and the rest of you carry on with the dungeon.
Shania comes through and goes, don't we need to wait for Velda? Nah, don't worry about it. Let's just go.
So question time. What would have happened if we had have chosen, or he had chosen one of us to be executed? Say he does that, he puts the spear through the neck. One of us is now dead. Does he then go on? What would happen then, Dan? What's the...
Yeah.
He likely would have accepted that. So he's... Spears is... I can tell you who Spears is, actually. He's
Erdogan,
yeah. So he's the captain of the palace guard for the Rune Lord Alasnist, who was the Rune Lord of Wrath thousands of years ago. And he was so loyal that he offered to be entombed with her favourite. So the crypt you're in is like her favourite people from court. He agrees to be entombed in there with them and is turned into a skeleton to defend them forever. And then no one breaks into the tomb for thousands of years. So he's just like in there with like one book of puzzles, which he blazes through in the 1st century, and then it decomposes. And he's just been there the whole time, just wanting a challenge, just desperate to prove himself in battle. So I guess if one of you had submitted, he would have killed them. That would have been an accepted challenge, and then he probably would have told you to leave. But then you got the awkward thing that you're on opposite sides of him, so like you then have a split party and a dead Velda.
It's the door down to the right. No, not that one. Go past that one. There's the stairs. Look on your right.
But like many people will not believe this, but there was no GM fudging at all on that one. You took him from full hit points to exactly 0 hit points in a single strike. Because of the holy damage and the crit. It was insane.
Mad. That was going to be my next question, was going to be, did he have exactly 26 hit points? That was my next question.
Yeah, because he didn't have a ton of hit points, but the thing was he had damage reduction that was taking away a load of stuff from that. So it's the fact that the holy water negated his DR, and the fact it was a crit, everything just came together to just be like that one thing. Because if he gets one more go, it's still looking really rough for...
Yeah, I was going to say, like, if he gets to go, we're dead. Like, one of us is dead.
I think M is probably in the... I'm trying to picture this is a battle that could have really done with a map, but I'm trying to picture... I think it's M that most likely is going to be the one that bites the bullet on that one, because Fulton and Caragor are too close for him to hit with the spear, and Rachel's a guest. So I think the only other viable option becomes M.
I mean, he was... The only thing about M is he was on full hit points, so he may well have survived the hit. Had he gone for Fulton would be dead. He would be dead, right?
You were on full hit points the entire time?
Yeah, I just kept spinning around, didn't I?
Piece of shit.
It was through sheer clumsiness that M stayed on full hit points. He just kept spinning around on the platform like an idiot.
That was
dropping
a good
his
bit,
weapons.
Actually. It's just such a obviously when that spinning around the platform thing happened, obviously it's such good fodder for the Danger Club. But when we were like, oh, okay, this is serious, we want to take the combat seriously now, we couldn't get out of it, but still were quite aware that it was a funny joke. Cause it was like, I don't know, like someone pressing the kill button, but knowing that it's a fart noise, but you can't stop pressing it because it's a funny thing. But even though it is killing you, like just one more
such a stupid thing, but like playing for the laughs. Yeah, it was great. I love that. And then moving on from that, we get out of we
Colin,
actually take a rest.
One more thing from Dan. Sorry.
Oh no, please do. Yeah. Sorry.
The spelling of Erdogan, because he's got a name that sounds very much like an Israeli prime minister. So what is?
It does, doesn't it?
What is
it is spelt ERDIKHAAN.
AAN.
Yeah.
AAN. Erdogan.
Cool. Thank you, Dan. Interesting.
Spears is far better.
Spears is far better. Yeah.
Sorry, mate.
He is so big though, isn't he? Like he is butch. Like he's hench.
He's great. I love the art of him with just we talked about the "come at me, bro" pose.
Yeah,
it's just great.
Yeah. And then we take a rest, and oh my god, we level up.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yes. Pew, 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 pew. How long were you waiting for us to sleep, Dan?
I'd been wanting to. I'd basically said we'll do it kind of after the first big encounter in the ossuary, and then everything got thrown out a little bit because we got Rachel as a guest last minute, so it was kind of like, okay, so the level up's got to go in there somewhere as well. And we couldn't do it after the Dark Mantle fight because we've got to keep moving to get to where we can meet Rachel. And so this was just, and then after this fight I was like, oh my god, you guys need a level if you're going to keep fighting some of the things that are in it. So it had been long overdue.
So had we not slept, we might have been in a lot of trouble.
I would have hugely encouraged you to sleep, because the thing is, you got Fulton walks into the trap the next morning on the door, so it's very easy. You could have been like, whew, thank God we got through that. Just put a hand on the door and immediately died.
I imagine it. Yeah, that would have been great. Actually, it would have been good to listen to. Don't want to lose Fulton, obviously, but don't want to lose any of the characters. Just want to state that. It's great. I love that image of like Fulton just going. Zzz, zzz, zzz. Also, as well, that leveling up. I remember that Rachel had to go, and we literally had to level up then, didn't we? I think we had an idea that we might be leveling up, but we had to pause the record and like do the leveling up. And Rachel was like, "I've got to go, lads. I've got to go." And we were like, "Okay." And it was like really, really quick, wasn't it? That we had to do all this.
Yeah, it was a speed level.
It was really great. And then we get out there. We all do spider climb. That was good, wasn't it?
One of several spells throughout this dungeon that Drum categorically does not have yet.
This is the first of many that we just like go, "Oh right, okay," and he's like, "Oh, actually, I can't use that." So we do all spider climb, and then and Rach just keeps. It was you that mentioned it, wasn't it, Scott? You say that Rachel keeps telling us to do things, and we just do it. And she's not rolling persuasion on any of it. We're just like, "Oh yeah, cool." And because it's Rach, we're just like, "Yeah, man."
Very persuasive person. Clearly, Zola's a very persuasive character. I mean, it sort of fits in her bearing and nature and stuff. Yeah. And we're in an environment where we don't really know where to go and stuff. So whenever someone says decisively this, especially after the entrance door riddle, so whenever someone decisively says something, we're like, "Well, okay, I suppose we should." Yeah, and we sort of all feel bad about it as well. Like, "Oh yeah, I guess you are right. Also, I'm sorry." It's the Zola effect, you know. But she does have she's quite persuasive. The come spider climb with us to Velda when we're all sort of like trying to get him to commit to the spider climb. I'm surprised you haven't done a bit on that. Like there's a come fly with me bit I'm sure that we could have done at some point.
Why haven't we done it?
We'll get on it. We'll get on it.
Spider climb.
Retrospective.
Yeah, we all sort of like turn on Velda a little bit on this bit, don't we?
We do. He has been in defence of us turning on Velda. He's not been the most helpful
no.
or friendly at that point. But yes, we do all turn on him.
Bless
I think I started booing him just because he didn't want to get on board with the main thing. But that is
what's really funny is like Caragor at first is like, "Oh no, let's not do that," and then I'm like, "Oh come on, Caragor," and you're like, "Okay, let's do it." So at first you're kind of agreeing with Velda, and then when Velda does it, you're like, "Boo!"
We have
boo.
the other characters sort of swing between Fulton and Velda because Fulton is like, without thinking, I'm gonna go ahead and just charge away, and oftentimes that's bad or good. And Velda's the complete opposite, like, well, if I slowly think and do everything and pull it apart to bits and realize all the and you have two extremes. You have the one who never does anything ever and will overthink it to death, and you have the one who just goes ahead and does everything all the time. And then everyone else just oscillates between those two energies in the party, I think.
Yeah. And that's it. And then Zola's brother comes along as an alchemical zombie. She finishes him off and then disappears into the night.
Should we explain another reference that Rachel made? A real life reference to us, because at some point Rachel says, "Oh, it's like the bloody human centipede." Oh no, that's just an in-joke to us. This does relate.
Yes, no, we should.
This
yeah,
does relate
absolutely.
to how
I'm
we
glad
met
you picked
Rachel,
that up.
so we should maybe go into it. Although I wasn't there for that night, I don't think.
Oh my god, I wasn't either, thankfully. This was the horror tourist attraction that we used to work at. We didn't work in the horror bit, we worked in the history bit. But they were always looking for a way to make a buck because they're carnies. Actually got on quite well with the guys who ran it, but they absolutely were. But they back when the Human Centipede was a thing, that movie.
It was number 2, wasn't it? The Human Centipede 2 was coming out.
It was, I think, and it had been banned. Supposedly, this was the thing. Was like they arranged that they were going to do a screening at the tourist attraction with people in zombie costumes, and there would be a Human Centipede themed horror attraction to see this banned film. And it wasn't banned; it was just no cinema wanted to screen it because it was like straight to DVD trash. Yeah. And it's been on at like horror nights and things. But yes, they put on a big thing, and they were like, "Oh, it's going to be really good. You can meet all the people from the Human Centipede." And we were like, "Oh, great!" and booked the night off, and we all went to the pub. But yeah, that's they did that there, and there was a Human Centipede costume that had like pants with masks attached to it, and
there were like 3 people kind of bandaged together. They had their mouths near each other's bums.
Nice ending to that. 2 of those people are now married. So
there you go. Yeah.
You know.
Hey, how did you guys meet? Well, funny story.
My face was wedged into their bum.
I mean, you've got two options there, haven't you? You're either mortal enemies, you don't want to see them ever again, or you marry the fucker. Like, you know.
This is actually quite nice. Do you want to marry me? Yeah.
Do you want? I've just looked it up. Do you want to close on Zola's briefing, like in character briefing for her character, her setup that I sent her to describe her character as we bid farewell to her?
Before we do that, I just wanted to mention the fact that in the episode, she literally needed to run. She needed to leave. Like, she had to go. She had an appointment. And she was like, I need to go literally and metaphorically. So Zola needed to leave, but Rachel Henley needed to leave very, very quickly. So we had to kind of end the episode quite quick. We were like, quick, kill the zombie. Get rid of him. But again, no DM fluffing either. Was there, Dan? He was just a regular alchemical zombie, and Fulton does. If Fulton hits one of them, he's taking it down because he does so much damage. But yeah, between the two of them, they got him. But I love this bit that I got wrong because she just disappeared into the shadows. Now, listening back, the way you say it, Dan, you said she vanishes into the shadows. And I think, in my mind, I thought she puts this magical ring on and then she teleports out of there. That's what because vanish, that was what my mind. So I put this sound effect in that it's like blah, 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 as if she disappears. And then like after everyone heard it, everyone was like, doesn't she just like walk off into the darkness?
but now that's canon, right? So that Zola, presumably with at least a level of rogue, does vanish into the darkness, but despite all of her airs and grace and everything, she just makes that noise with her mouth as she walks away. Like, that's canon.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, give us a little rundown of Henley's character, that'd be great.
Caermarga so this is what I sent to Rachel after she gave me a briefing of what she wanted to play. I sent her this back. Caermarga is a city of haves and have-nots. As the elder daughter of the prominent Dubois family, you grew up firmly on the side of the haves. Your mother was a famous opera singer, who you guys killed in the vaults before as a zombie, and your father was a noble from one of the old families in the city, and you grew up in luxurious seclusion in one of the tall towers that look down on the rest of the city. As a girl, you lived your whole life in the shadow of your younger brother Aymer, the apple of your parents' eye, despite being lazy, dull, and cruel. Try as you might, nothing was ever good enough for them. You excelled in your studies, learned swordplay, and even held your father's businesses together while he was grieving after your mother's passing. All the while, though, it was Aymer that received their praise. Finally, you grew tired of being the person you thought your father wanted to be, and decided to become the opposite, slipping away in the night to spend time in the city below. You burned through your money at a furious rate, waking up in the mud more than once and leaving as much of your family's reputation there as you could. The final straw came when Aymer fell from his horse and died a few weeks ago. At the funeral, you heard your father mourn the death of his only child, cutting you off from the family in that moment. Aymer was buried in the prestigious Godsmith Ossuary, I still can't say it, to great fanfare, and you were left with nothing. With no way of proving your birthright, you'll be forced to watch as your family fortune, a fortune that you helped build, is split among distant relatives and business associates of your father. That is when you decided to act. Upon the finger of your dead brother sits his signet ring. Your own was long since gambled away at a gambling table. As long as you can retrieve it, you stand a chance of regaining your fortune upon your aging father's death. With that in mind, use the last of your money to hire a group of mercenary Tengus, they're crow people, to help you retrieve the ring. Setting out from the Bottoms district, you and your guides made the treacherous climb down the tall cliffs on which Caermarga sits. There, in one of the enormous stone faces that adorn the cliffside, you found a tunnel leading through the rock into the lower levels of the Godsmith Ossuary. It hasn't gone well in there. No sooner did you make your way in, your group was attacked. You never saw the creature that attacked you. You just heard panicked squawks of your guards as you ran for your life. And that was the point where she met all of you. So that is Zola's story. She retrieved the ring and was able to regain her, well, maybe was able to regain her fortune.
Well, the last time we saw her, we did a flashback, didn't we? Oh, we'll talk about that later on. We can't talk about it now, can we? Because that's another episode of Danger Recall.
Did we, just before you finish, Cole?
Yeah, sure.
Did we kill Zola's mum again?
No, so Zola's mum was Zola's. Oh no, I don't know if you would. It was mentioned that she was down there. I don't know if you.
Right, okay, because
that was it. Chappie told you about her.
Yes,
it was in the. It was Chappie or Santine. It was one of the French gnomes.
Right.
They said about Marguerite Dubois, the famous opera singer who had attacked somebody in their basement, but she had been dead for a long time. That was the first. She was one of the first alchemical zombies that was reanimated.
Okay,
I don't actually think you fought her yourself.
Okay, cool. I was just remembering fighting that lady, the lady who defeated Caragor, I think. But yeah, I was just like, I wasn't aware that was a Dubois. Jeez. But no, cool.
Yeah, when we listened back to that episode, I remember you mentioning that. I remember Santine or Chappie mentioning that, and I was like, oh yeah, Dubois. And I think we did mention it on Danger Recall. If we didn't, I apologise. But we're only human beings. Team, that's episode 40. We've got to close it up. That was great. Last one for Rachel Henley. Big up. Thank you so much for being on the show. And thank you to my guest today, Dan Thompson.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good week.
And thanks, Scott. Nice one for being here.
It's called the human centipede, but it actually should be called the elven centipede or the half-orc centipede. It's not just a humanoid centipede would have been inclusive.
Thank you so much. Bye, Dangerlings. Bye.
Wave every week. I don't know why I
Still
wave.
waving.
Why
Yeah,
are
I
we
know I'm
waving?
waving too. What are we doing? I don't
Waving.
know.